Hey everybody, welcome to the movies. We're the Mirko Movie Guys. I'm Clint Chaffer, and this is my buddy Chad Weeks.
And we're a couple guys who like movies and like to talk about movies. Actually, we're a couple guys and a half. And Devin felt so compelled to tell me that the first time that he did this with Clint, which was not that long ago, you guys got it on your first try. This is like our third time trying to get the intro going here. And Devin said he nailed it on the first try. So, Devin, introduce yourself.
I'm Devin Peters, and I came in here to help these guys out and see if I can have a better opinion on these movies.
Yeah, that's about right.
Speaking of the movie, what movie are we even talking about?
Venom. Let there be carnage. Oh. It's about time, right? We've been off for a while, so we need to get back here, and we really need to.
This is a little bit of a comeback here.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we took a little time off.
Yep, absolutely. Summer's tough.
It is.
Summer's tough. It's really tough. There's always stuff going on. Always busy stuff. So yeah.
And we're getting back into the kind of the movie swing, right? I mean, with all the releases and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
But we missed some blockbusters. We'll talk about a little bit later in the show. But yeah, still, regardless, I'm really excited to get into this movie. So
all right. Well, with that, grab your popcorn,
fill up your drinks,
and get ready for the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Hey man, it's been a long time since we've sat here and talked about this, and a lot has happened since the last time that we talked.
Absolutely, we've really missed out on some blockbusters that we will hit on a little bit later. But we're still gonna get time to get the big ones. I mean, we missed Shang-Chi is probably the biggest one that I think we missed. We really should have done an episode on Shang-Chi, but it just schedules wouldn't work out. So here we are. We can talk about it later though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. I think you all understand. Summertime gets a little bit busier than the rest, so it's just one of those.
Everybody's getting married. That's the problem. There's always a wedding or there's something, and it's you just don't have time for it.
That is true.
But
so what do you think? For everybody watching out there, I think how we're going to end up approaching this here today. Let's talk about Venom. And let's knock that out.
Yep.
And then we'll jump into a few of the movies and just some of the highlights on some of the big movies.
Yeah, just talk about some of the movies we've missed throughout the year. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's start off with what do you think of this movie?
So
Venom.
So looking at Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm not going to rate it yet. I'll hold off on that until the end of our conversation. But where I would put this, it was right there with the last one.
The last Venom, the original Venom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I don't think that this was a surpass of the original.
I would say it's a surpass of the original. I would agree with you that it's on par for the first one. I do think that it was better, a better movie than the first one. Just because I feel like first off the villain was much better. I feel like Shriek was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love that she's in there. And also like, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer on this because I am such a big fan of that story. I love Carnage. I love my favorite video game of all time was that Maximum Carnage video game that I've still never beat. And this movie actually plays onto that a lot because Shriek was one of the main characters in there. It was Venom. Actually, it was Venom and Spider-Man teaming up against Carnage throughout the walking down the streets of San Francisco. Super cool storyline. It was very ahead of its time for a Sega game. But anyway, so I would say it improved because of the villain, villains plural. And I just think that it was a better movie all around, but not like it was leaps and bounds. I wouldn't say it was like one of those better Marvel movies you gotta,
Yeah. Devin, what was your thought?
I'm like Chad. I think it was better because of the villains, but it's still not up there with all of them. But it's still better than the first one.
How did you feel about Eddie, or not Eddie Brock, Cletus Cassidy?
I really liked him.
So Woody Harrelson, I feel like really hammed it up a lot for me. Like he was a little bit extra, like he was being. But I like that. I feel like it did a good job. I think it was on par what it needed to be. Where he was kind of overacting on purpose, and I liked it.
Yeah. The funny part about that, my comparison to Woody Harrelson would be Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's...
I don't want you to start mentioning Wonder Woman 84 because, like, come on. I mean, I get what you're
No,
saying.
I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about that is
Yeah.
a very direct comparison.
I didn't realize I was going to be defensive about this movie, but apparently I am. I know. But no, it really, I get what you're saying. I really do.
I just think those two characters, they're both over-the-top characters. They're both overacted a little bit. I think on purpose for what they're trying to do. Woody Harrelson, I think, I mean, he played the... and I don't know why, but I'm like, Woody doesn't, fit the psychotic guy, but I mean, Natural Born Killers and some of those,
exactly.
he definitely does.
So my dad and I were talking. Because I went with my parents and my family. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings beforehand, and he'd watched Venom, but he wasn't aware that he didn't watch Stay Up Past the Credits. Like, what kind of rookie does that?
Right.
So he didn't know that Woody Harrelson was going to be in the movie. And I mentioned it. He's like, is he the most underrated actor ever? And I want to ask that question right now. Is Woody Harrelson the most underrated actor ever? I think we've talked about this a little bit because you've said that he's never been the main guy.
Yeah.
But is he the best supporting actor of a career?
Yeah, I mean, he's made a fantastic career of being a supporting actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what he tried to argue, but he's like, well, he's been the main guy. And he brought up, like Zombieland. It's like, well, no, it wasn't. It was Jesse Eisenberg there.
Yeah.
And it was, he's never been the main guy, but I feel like he's the best supporting actor of all time.
Yeah, he's one of those too, and there's several actors that are doing this today that he's actually getting better the older he gets.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
I think his acting talent is getting better. I think just his characters that he can play are getting better. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Woody Harrelson.
Can you think of a bad role that he's been in though?
Not off the top of my head.
I can't either. Yeah, I was gonna say like everything he's in. It's not only that he's not that he's not only is he a great actor, but he's just. I love his roles. I love his roles in there. Even if the movie's bad, he was great.
So we've talked a little bit of a high level. What is one thing in the movie or about the movie, storyline, acting, like whatever? But what's one thing you did not like
about the movie? Okay,
Yep.
So I don't like the fact that Venom it's a buddy system. Like I don't like the fact that and I see how it works in the movie, but I'm not a big fan of like the buddy cop type of feeling that you get from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just don't really love it. And also I didn't like it with Carnage. So Carnage, like they started off on such a hot streak where it's like these guys are going to be this perfect symbiote. That's what makes them the best in the Marvel comics is because they're perfectly joined and they are one. It's we are Venom, but it is I am Carnage, and that's what makes it so cool. I didn't really see that from this one. I guess I didn't really see the singularity with Carnage, and I didn't really see. I don't know. I didn't like that factor. I guess
they tried to play into it a little bit, but it was like really at the end.
Yeah,
right? I mean, before that really kind of started to take place.
Yep. And I felt like Venom was a little bit of a. I mean, he's been a little bit of a joke. He's been he's a space alien that all of a sudden he knows all these slang words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's kind of a comedian. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, and I don't really love that. But
So what's your thought? What would be one thing that you didn't enjoy about the movie?
I really don't know. I don't know.
Did you like the storyline, like all the villains, everything else?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I think one of the things that I kind of didn't enjoy was just the transition of Woody Harrelson into Carnage. Like I feel like we didn't get any character build up on the Carnage aspect. It just went from like you see his psychotic side, right? But then all of a sudden it's like there is no on ramp to him being Carnage, and so it's just like. You went from, hey, he's a crazy serial killer to like he's this all-powerful being, and I think it would have been cool to like see like a little bit of a ramp or a little bit of a build-up on that.
For Carnage specifically, not Cletus Cassidy, but for Carnage.
For Carnage specifically on that aspect. I think they did a great job of Cletus. I thought they built his backstory. It's just that as soon as Carnage gets introduced, it went from 0 to Venom doesn't want to fight this guy, right? And it's
for everybody. Devin, go ahead. You were just gonna.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the thing I didn't like is, like, in the beginning they had another actor play young.
Oh, yeah.
Young, and they
I know where you're
voiced
going.
over.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, the young actor, I don't know what his name is. We could put up here, and he looked nothing like Woody Harrelson, and it sounded so weird because it was Woody Harrelson's voice, but it's like they wasn't even close with like his character. They look nothing alike.
But I think that is also on par. I mean, I fully agree with that. I think it's on par with the first movie, though. These movies are not to the same standard that I think production quality, I don't think are on par with a lot of the other Marvel movies. I just don't think they are.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I do think that like we have Andy Serkis now, so I feel like Andy Serkis gives them a huge boost of gusto and stuff like that. So like, you know, with these motion capture stuff, like there's nobody that should be doing better than Andy. Andy Serkis is the guy that does Planet of the Apes. He was Caesar in Planet of the Apes. He was Gollum in the Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing. Like I feel like having him on there. I feel like they now have the chops to do this. I feel like they have the freedom to do this because did anybody else notice that when they talked to Shriek, what they said about her powers?
That they were getting stronger?
No, well, yeah, but what was getting stronger?
I don't think I got
Specific the word mutation.
Ah.
They said my mutation is getting stronger. So remember that was a big thing. Like you couldn't use the word mutation or mutant or mutate in Fox or in Sony or the Marvel MCU because
Fox owns
X-Men. Yeah, so you could not. They had to steer completely away from those words. And I don't know what Shriek's origin story is at all, or whether she was actually a mutant or what it is. But like that's the first reference of mutants in any of these movies that aren't Fox. Am I right? I mean, like
I would assume so.
Yeah, and that's the first time they've had the freedom to do that. I think that was a huge step. So hopefully that is the first step towards Gambit being in here. So I've been wanting Gambit for a while, but no. What was your dislike on this one?
No, I said just a character development of Carnage specifically. I think was just that was the last. So even like going back to the original, right? You had the other symbionts that were in the movie, and you got to understand who the leader was. Why was he stronger than Venom? All of those things, right? In this one, it was just, it was a weird play that it's like I don't know why he's stronger than Venom. Especially for how Cletus even got infected with the symbiont was incredibly weak. Like I just didn't think it didn't have the bones to go from zero to I'm Carnage.
So I feel like that was almost a thing where they expect you to know a little bit of the backstory of the symbiotes and stuff like that or something because they kind of did. And I've never really understood it either. Even in the comics, it never made a whole lot of sense to me because when you saw Carnage fighting Spider-Man and Venom, it was always he would absolutely crush them. Like, did you notice? Like he could do the shapes, so he could make knives and cut people with it. That sort of thing. Venom can't do that. All he can do is like a big block. So he's so much more advanced. But with the symbiotes in the comics, they every spawn of the symbiote is stronger than the previous. And I have no clue why that is, but apparently that's their thing. And they all reproduce asexually, so it's literally just that's what it was. That's why it was his son.
Yeah.
That's why my wife said that she's like, well, wouldn't if they took his, wouldn't it just go back? Like if they took part of his body, wouldn't it just go back into him or whatever? But it can't because it's actually another. But again, I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't.
No, it just like I said, they just didn't do any explanation on that, and
Correct.
And it gets to the point with, of course, we don't like to do any spoilers, so we're not going to go into mass detail here. But I mean, some of the things that Carnage does towards the end of the movie, it's like, I mean, where does it stop?
Yeah.
Right. And so anyway, that was probably just and I'm probably nitpicking on some of that, but it was. Fun movie. I enjoyed it. It's just I do feel like they just didn't do that great of a job introducing that specific character.
So visually speaking, what do you guys think of those? Like the visual aspects of things, like as far as Venom and Carnage. Like I mean, specifically Carnage.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What did you think about Carnage? Actually, his CGI or whatever.
I liked it.
Yeah, I would state that I thought the even though I've kind of knocked the production of these films a little bit, the CGI work actually between specifically when Carnage is battling Venom and they're going back and forth and you get a lot of kind of like those knives going in and out and everything else.
Yeah.
I actually think they did a great job of that. I thought the camera tracking on it was actually pretty well done as well. It didn't feel like things were out of place or the perceptions were wrong or anything of that. I felt like it flowed incredibly nice.
Absolutely, and I felt like they did a lot of like a smooth transition while they're, I want to compare this movie to Spider-Man 2 a little bit in some ways, and this is going to be one of them where you see that scene where Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus are rolling across the train. Probably one of the most iconic scenes in Marvel history. I feel like they did a lot of that stuff where they're fighting and they're just kind of rolling around and they are still keeping a continuity of it where you can tell where everything's going on, and I really like that. I also really like the close-ups of Carnage, where if you look right, like when he was right up next to the camera, you could see where it was, he had the darker underneath the white of his eyes, and I really like that. I really like that. I think that he looked a lot different than what I expected him to be. Because in the comics he's a more fragile or a smaller figure, and a brighter red. But I really liked it. I thought that it was as good as you can get for
Yeah. What'd you think about the fight scenes between them?
I thought that they were nice.
Fast paced.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one thing I would like to see more from Shriek, and that's because they build up the relationship with Cletus Cassidy and I forget what her name is. Her real name is. But Naomi Harris is her name, but her character's name.
It's like Francis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Francis something. Yeah,
Francis like Bader or something something with a B. I thought.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. But regardless, I didn't feel like she got her just due in the movie later on. Like I feel like she was such a huge part of the build up, and then kind of okay.
Yeah, the interesting part. I'm probably going to go back to why I'm going to rate it the way I'm going to rate it, and where I compare it to even with the first one. I know you said you like the storyline of this one better than the first one, and I thought the first one actually had more depth to it from an overall story standpoint.
Okay,
this story was a very close story, and meaning that it really only impacted a very small number of people that we got introduced to, right? So I mean, you had what's her name? Shriek.
Yeah,
there we go.
Sorry.
I want to say Screech. I'm like, wait a second, that's Saved by the Bell.
He's dead now.
Yes, that is Dusty Diamond or
Dustin
whatever.
Diamond. Yeah.
So you got Shriek. Man, I'm struggling here. Shriek. You have Carnage and Cletus. You have Eddie Brock and Venom. You have his so-called girlfriend or whatever in the doctor, right?
Yep.
And
Dr. Dan. Actually, I really like Dr. Dan.
I like Dr. Dan.
Let's not discount Dr. Dan. He's a big part of this.
Then the police guy, right?
Yeah.
And
Officer Gilman. Right?
And really after that's really the only people that were affected during this movie, right? And so like it was a very small, intimate story that's really only impacting a small number of people. Where again, I feel that the first movie felt more of a superhero film to me because it's like it's getting bigger, right? Like we got to stop some world-ending events.
I was gonna say,
you
save the world. Does everything have to be save the world? I mean,
no, I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying that is a difference, and I feel like if you're going to introduce Carnage is supposed to be big. Yet the story did not go hand in hand with what Carnage is supposed to be. It's a very small, personal, intimate story that didn't impact hardly anybody.
Yeah, so
nobody's going to wake up tomorrow in San Francisco and go, wow, Carnage really messed a lot of things up. They're just going to go, oh, they're...
Yes. So another duality, another comparison I'd like to make is the fact that I've always considered Carnage the Marvel version of the Joker, because he's the guy that he has no real reason for doing anything he does, which the movie gave him a little bit more of a plot line on that one. But he was just a stone cold killer. He's like, I want to bite people's heads off, and I don't care why. I want to kill people because he's a psycho, and he's got whatever. He's got the tortured past or whatever, but he's just a bad guy.
Yeah, like the closest we got to that though was the prison scene. Right? I mean, like when he's breaking out of the prison scene, that's like the closest thing that we got to like seeing him go all out, like,
What about his power up in the final fight? Did you catch that one? I don't want to spoil it because it's kind of a little bit of a spoiler, and I don't want to say anything. But where he says power up,
yeah. But what I was meaning though, like the prison scene was when we got to see him go berserk over a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Where again, the end scene is really, or the end of this movie is really, I mean, again, the immediate cast.
Yeah, and with that scene, that was also the first time you got to see him be vulnerable, because then you see Shriek, who's, if the symbiotes, their weakness is sound, so they're pairing up with the sound. Yeah.
Which you knew that was going to happen.
Exactly.
Shortly into the film. So
something Clint pointed out when we were watching it, that the voice of Venom is actually the same voice that Tom Hardy used in Batman.
Yeah, in Bane.
Yeah, for Bane.
Oh, is it really?
It sure sounded like it.
Oh yeah.
It literally gets to the so when
he had an accent in that one with a
no, so that comes out though.
That
comes out in this movie, and it was only in that one scene that I ended up hearing it. And it was when they were just talking back and forth, and all of a sudden I'm like, because I didn't know if Tom Hardy actually voiced Venom or not.
I didn't either.
So I was like, I don't know if this is a different character or not. But they started talking back and forth, I think like a little bit slower to each other, and I'm like, that's Bane.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I was born in the darkness. Like that's
a great catch. I missed it. Yeah, I wish you remember what scene that was, because I'd like to see that and just. I'm sure I'll catch it on the next one, because this will be one that you'll watch, multiple times. So, where would you rate this one then? Well, first off, before we want to do that, I want to do one more thing, because I talked about the duality, and I said I want to mention Spider-Man 2, and I do want to say that this feels like Spider-Man 2 in a lot of ways, where if you look at the fact that it's basically a story about. You remember in Spider-Man 2 where Peter Parker he doesn't want to be doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah.
He wants to have a relation. He wants to have a life, and he gives up all that. And then he realizes his power, that he needs to be this person. With great power comes great responsibility. That's exactly what Venom does in this movie. Like, they're having a kind of a buddy fight within themselves, and all of a sudden they need to do it. But he made a comment about responsibility that almost was like a thumb in your nose, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but like thumbing your nose at Spider-Man. And it was a reference, but it was a subtle one.
Yeah, that story arc with them kind of battling each other was actually probably one of my favorite aspects of the movie. I thought that was a great, because a lot of these. When it's just a single person, right? It's either an event that took their powers away, a wish, or magic, or something else, or they just they want to give it up. This was kind of fun because you get the duality of the two, right?
It's literally man versus self is your plot line. It's man versus self, but that self is actually another.
Yeah, it's
being.
got another personality, right?
Man versus extraterrestrial.
I did enjoy that aspect about it, and I thought they played that very well.
I'm not saying they didn't play well. When I talk about like I didn't like that factor, I think they played it great, and they're doing it. Like I said, there's no better person to do that than Andy Serkis. However, just wasn't. I would have rather just seen.
I get it.
Yeah.
Ratings. So I'm gonna let Devin go first.
Lead us off, Devin. What you got?
I think I would give the movie about 7.8 to 8.
7.8 to 8. All right, that's a good review. That puts you right in the fantastic category, just short of must see.
Wow.
Clint, why about yourself?
Sure in the heck ain't that high.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can't put a 6 in front of this. That puts it into I think a different category.
Wow.
But I would definitely go. I don't think I could probably go much higher than I'm gonna do a 7.2.
What would you say the last Venom was? 7.2?
7.1 probably.
Okay.
7.2.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, see, like there, you're gonna catch me in a a negative or a bad statement, right? Because I started this off by saying I think this was actually, so both of them are floating around a 7.1, 7.2.
Okay.
But I'm gonna stamp this at a 7.2.
7.2.
7.2.
7.8, 7.2. I'm 7.2. I thought about this a lot before coming in here, and it's like where am I going to rate this?
As much
one?
as you talk this up, and you come in with the same rating as I come in
I
at.
do, yeah, but I think that's a very strong rating. It's a good rating. You talked me into a 7.3. It's a 7.3. Stamp it 7.3 because I definitely got to be higher than you. But no, I think a 7.3 is a fair assessment because here's the thing. This isn't a movie that's going to reinvent the wheel or anything like. It's not going to be a blockbuster. I mean, it is going to be a blockbuster hit, but it's not going to be something. It's not a crazy plot line or anything like that. It's just a good, fun movie to go see. And not every movie has to be an Oscar winner.
Do you run into it? And Devin, I'd like your thoughts on this too. Eddie Brock, and I don't know if it's Eddie Brock the character or if it's Tom Hardy the actor playing Eddie Brock, but it's like every other scene I either love the guy or I'm just like annoyed that he's even on the screen. Like I don't know what it is.
Speaking of Tom Hardy, I think Tom Hardy was a way better actor in the first Venom than this one. I just feel like
Really?
Yeah, I could see that. I would agree with that too. Like I feel like we got to see more of a genuine Tom Hardy acting as opposed to this one. Like there just wasn't. I just don't think there was a lot of.
I think he did great in this one. I'm not gonna say one. I guess I don't remember a difference between this one and the last one. If anything, I would say that I'm just glad that I could understand him better. Because if I have a knock on Tom Hardy, it's the fact that he doesn't enunciate well. He does a lot of like like I watch movies with him on subtitles a lot. So
that is it's incredibly interesting. I've talked to my wife about this as well. I don't know what it is about British accents or Scottish or but it's funny because I'm like, we're all speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Yet, if you get a thick English accent, I swear I could understand Spanish better.
But he doesn't even speak in an accent here. It's just he just
mumbles.
Yeah, he just doesn't enunciate like enunciate, man. It's like he's like move your mouth a little bit more when you talk.
I think the first one was way worse because
I couldn't hardly. That was a problem. Like watching through at the movie in theaters. I had a problem with
I think it goes back to. He did it a little bit in this one when he was going into the prison the first time, and Venom's upset that he's mumbling and he's doing all that. He did that a ton in the first one because he's having so many conversations and feelings inside himself that he can't keep his head straight. It
does play into it because you're actually just kind of like you're not really speaking to another person.
No,
because the person is within, so you're kind of just like, oh my god,
yeah. So follow me around on any given day, and you're probably going to hear me mumble.
Absolutely,
a lot like that,
I get that too. Yeah. All right. I'll give him a pass on this one then. But every other movie's the same way, so I'm not giving him a pass.
Peaky Blinders is one that I struggle. Again, going back to the accents, you get that thick English accent. Man, I don't know what it is. It's like I hurry up and turn subtitles on.
Anytime we watch a movie, my wife will say, like, I don't know why you don't turn the subtitles on every time, because if there's even the slightest bit of an accent, like, you're done. Just no. Yeah.
All right, so we ended up stamping this thing 7.2, 7.3, and 7.8.
I'm gonna change mine from 7.8 to like a 7.5.
So we just dropped this down a little bit. All right. So that's gonna be a stamp. With that, we're gonna take a quick intermission.
What does that put us at? It puts us at 7.4 then, right? For the average 7.2, 7.3, 7.5.
Yeah, it'd be like
7.3 and a half,
7.5 or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. So with that, we're gonna take just a quick intermission, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So after a brief intermission there, we had a little bit of time to review some notes and realized there's a couple more things that we wanted to talk about Venom before we move on.
Yeah. Lethal Protector. Okay, like the fact that they reference that and they reference it real hard is pretty cool. That's a big part of the comics. That was one of those first.
So that's a comic call out, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And can we put a picture of because I feel like that.
No.
Okay, all right. I think it's Jeff Bagley's art, but it is one of the coolest covers ever because that is a Venom I don't know, whatever iconic Venom look, that the big toothy grin, like.
So I mean, it's kind of funny, and I'm just kind of like, I guess, thinking about this when you say Lethal Protector, that almost sounds like a Punisher to me.
Yeah, he's not a hero. I mean, we're talking about this is an anti-hero.
Another
so, But the thing
anti-hero.
is, like, you say anti-hero. I always viewed Venom as a villain. Like, he was always just a villain, right?
I thought he was a villain. Yeah.
As long as I've known him, he was a villain. But then again, you also had like the Lethal Protector series where he was doing good things. He was always opposed to Spider-Man until they fight Carnage. Also, I remember randomly, and if I can find the panel, the comic book panel, I'd like to share it up here too, where it was a Christmas comic that I read over and over and over again, where it was like Jingle Bells, whatever, and it's about Venom. He's Venom Claus, and he's going through and he's like talking about he was going through town and saving people, and also munching on people's brains and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was very cool because it was very like that's very anti-hero thing. So yeah, I'd say I've always used him viewed him as a villain, but he's also that anti-hero Punisher type of thing.
So one of the other things that we touched on a little bit, but we didn't dive into, but is the comic value of Venom. But Devin, what's your thoughts? I mean, did you like the humor? Did you like the jokes? Like, what was your whole thoughts about that?
I really don't have any thoughts.
Back to you, Clint.
I mean,
My mind's just blank.
at the beginning of this, you
Always.
said that
Your mind is always blank, Devin.
At the beginning, you said you were going to be bringing in these excellent, high-quality
Yeah,
opinions
exactly,
here.
yeah.
I'm trying to get one of these high-quality opinions out of you.
That's waiting for another movie.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on. How about the time, because I was sitting right next to you and I thought that you laughed about this. How about when he slapped Dr. Dan?
That's pretty funny.
When he
Yeah.
slapped Dr. Dan, refresh my mind.
When they were going to get
Oh,
they were going to drive away and he just smacks him.
Because it was Eddie Brock, right?
That was actually the people next to us that were laughing.
Oh
You
yeah.
can hear it from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did just one of those call outs. If you do go to the movie theaters, just remember etiquette, don't talk, and those things. We had a very rude couple sit next to us.
Isn't that the worst? Like, you've always got the person. Like, I get that it's funny, but don't make your laughter ruin the movie for me. So I miss the next two lines.
Do you remember when Eddie Brock was typing on his computer and Venom was making him type funny things?
Yeah.
Right? That guy, every word that he typed, even though it was repeated, announced it to everybody in the movie theater very loudly.
We had people in the back that were starting to do that at the beginning. Honestly, though, I gotta apologize because at the beginning, like when the credits are when the opening trailers are starting to roll, right when we're getting there, I'm trying to take a picture of my family, because we're having a family movie night thing. Trying to do a picture here, and I got the new iPhone.
And you got the flash goes off.
No, not the flash. I just have no clue because it's like I got like a timer, so it's like it's not taking the picture. So literally, we're all busted up laughing trying to take. So before the trailers rolled, we were those people. But regardless, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, and again, don't get me wrong, I laugh out loud a lot as well when I'm in movies. This was just over the top obnoxious, and it like on every little thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is if you have a drink, you don't need to swirl it with your straw. That's the worst.
Yeah, so this same guy ends up swirling this and then running his straw in and out, so it's making the in the middle of the movie for like 10 minutes.
Savannah and I, we joke about this all the time because it's always like when we go to the theater, we always know that there's going to be that person right around us. Like we're the popcorn throwers. Like if you're talking to the movie, we're going to throw popcorn at you. It's like so yeah.
Well, anyway,
I've been wanting to do a blog post on that, just doing like movie etiquette that maybe you don't realize it.
Probably a good episode.
Yeah, maybe we should do an episode on it. Just movie episodes.
Yeah, and funny stories. Share some of your stories. Share your worst moments in a movie theater with us, and we'll discuss that on one of our episodes.
That's a great idea. We could actually act those out. And
yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Q&A.
So, well, hey, those are a few things that we wanted to at least discuss on Venom. How about we jump into just some of the movies that we've missed over the course of the last couple months anyway.
Yep, absolutely. So the first one that I would like to go to, like, let's just talk about the best movies of 2021 that we haven't really covered as an overview. First one I'm going to throw out is Nobody.
That's like that would be at the top of my list.
As your favorite movie of 2021? Like,
yeah, it was probably one of the most, I don't know how many times like I kept waiting for it to come out that we could watch it and not pay like however much money they were charging.
Yeah.
But when it finally came out and we could stream it, oh man, it was Great movie.
That was the first movie I saw in theaters after the pandemic. There, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was. And I loved it. So for those of you who don't know, it's Bob Odenkirk, and it's about an ex hitman basically, or enforcer, whatever you want to call him, and he gets put in a predicament where they basically somebody robs his house, threatens his family basically, but he doesn't maximize the punishment that he could have done, and it was like he held back, and then he goes into the fact that everybody around him is saying, "Oh, I would have done this." And here's the thing: have you even if you go to if you're at Target and somebody says something bad to you, and you tell that story to somebody else is gonna be like, "Oh man, you know what I would have done? I would have put them in their place. You know what I would have done? I would have done better than you." And that's what it was. You could feel it, and I could feel his anger building through there until he finally is like, "All right, well, I'm gonna go do it."
The funny thing is, what I absolutely loved about it is, I mean, he's a comedian at heart, right?
Yeah,
so he's seeing him in a very serious kind of role.
Is he
right?
I know that he's a comedian, he has a comedic roles, but is he?
No,
actually?
I think he's like a straight up comedian.
Is he really?
Back in the day, because he was what is it, Mr. Bill or whatever back in the there was that whole comedian comic sketch show or whatever.
No clue. I have no.
Yeah. I mean, I think he grew up in the
Really?
comedy side, but I'm not saying, I don't want to say stand up, but
Yeah,
I think he was a comedian at heart. But the thing is,
Bob Odenkirk's the guy from he's the lawyer.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yeah. If anybody's trying to draw.
Yeah, Sal.
Yeah,
Sal Goodman.
yeah.
And so anyway, or Saul Goodman. But anyway, the cool part about this, it's a mix between John Wick, Taken, and the next one is going to be a weird one, but I'm going to say Sherlock Holmes with
Really?
Yeah, because they do the slow down effect. That
They do.
In that, which reminds me
Those
of
fight scenes were great, weren't they?
which goes back. It's the one thing I can give Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. The fight scenes were really cool because they do that slow down stuff, and
Attack
that's
solar
what they
plexus.
ended up doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I would have said something that would have made him a more vulnerable hero, and I don't know who that would have been. I don't have a good suggestion, but somebody that is constantly getting worked over or very humble, I guess, very willing to accept the humiliation. Very
Woody Harrelson. I just want to kick this into
Okay.
it because this is actually it'll relate here in just a minute.
Okay.
Have you seen the new movie Kate on Netflix?
No.
Okay. Assassin.
Okay.
And gets poisoned with poison that's going to kill her.
Okay.
She's going to die at the end of
Do
this
you have any
movie.
idea who the actress is, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I wouldn't have asked you, you probably would have came up with it on your own. Yeah.
She's
I've
a
been there.
well-known actress. But anyway, she's going to die, right? I mean, that's how it's all played out at the very beginning. But anyway, she's the same way. It's like the John Wick style, but she's also taking bullets and getting stabbed and getting in worse shape as the movie goes on, right? Also, she's getting poisoned, but she has a job to do, right? And it's every time you think she's down and out, and it's pick myself back up, dump a little salt in the wound, and away we go. And he was kind of like that throughout that that movie,
absolutely.
because he got his butt whipped a couple times, so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what's the next one? What else would you put on this list?
Devin, what's a movie we've watched here that would probably be on that list?
Cruella.
Cruella, yeah.
Yeah. So that was probably my second movie to go see in the theaters, I think. So
that movie, here's what's hilarious about Cruella is I don't know the 101 Dalmatians very well.
Really?
I just it was never
wasn't part of your
wasn't
Devin,
on my radar.
was it part of yours? Because
No.
How old are you? You're 9.5 now.
13.
All right, 13. So
9.5.
So have you ever seen the original 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know much of the backstory, right? Besides she's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
After watching this, is she the bad guy?
Yeah.
I mean,
They do a really good job of making those characters relatable, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I loved the movie. I thought it was very well done. I loved the storyline. I loved the relationship between her and her buddies.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of fell apart there for a while and everything else. I mean, I just thought
and I can't remember those guys' names, but they're all in 101 Dalmatians, and they're very.
I just thought it was a very good dynamic. I thought the story was well done. I liked the whole part about
Absolutely.
it. So Cruella is actually one of those movies that we ended up waiting just here recently until it came out for free on Disney Plus. So we didn't watch it for a really long time, so we were excited to see that.
Yep, and I think that's one that I saw. I think that's what I did for my birthday. I think that my family, we went to this CEC Theaters in Burlington and watched it. And I think it was like a big birthday celebration for us, is what it was. So that's what we do for every birthday celebration is going to the movies. That's what we like to do.
Did you run into Trevor at all?
I did, but the thing is, here's the thing. At that point, I knew Trevor. Trevor didn't know me. Okay, because I'd exchanged some contacts with, or some information with him via email, because we had actually done during the pandemic.
You rented out one of the movie theaters, right?
we rented out, so it was great because it was a situation where it was just family. And there was nothing being played at that time. We went and watched Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a great movie. Yeah. And my grandparents could come, my grandma and grandpa, and grandma could yell at the screen all she wanted, and nobody cared because she,
Did you throw popcorn at her?
I did, and I let her do her thing. We laughed, we had a good time, but yeah, it was great that we could share that. I'm glad because my grandparents actually were some of the people they used to take me to the movies early on. So grandma, she loves her popcorn, loves that stuff. It was a good time. Great experience. But anyway,
how about another movie then?
Another movie? Let's go with Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Okay, yeah. Devin, what was your thoughts?
I'm gonna pass it to Clint.
Great insight there, Devin. Suicide Squad. I had a ton of fun with that movie. I think it was hands down significantly better than the first. It's getting closer to what the first should have been, right? Mm-hmm. And I still think they could probably even push it even harder than what they did. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the dynamics of the team. I liked how they incorporated in the previous movie and how they handled some of that.
Yeah, because the first one was terrible.
Yeah, I mean the first one was just.
Did you like anything about the first one?
Yes. No, I did like things about the first one. I hated the bad guys was probably the thing that I hated.
Just giant lumps of turd. That's what that's what they look like, right?
Yeah, and her, I didn't even like the witch's movements and all that. I don't know. But I did like the characters. I did like there were some fun things, like Will Smith doing the shooting and stuff. I thought was awesome. Harley Quinn was awesome. Jared Leto is not awesome.
He was so bad there, right?
Yeah, just not good.
So bad. I hated it. I hated him being on the screen more than anything else. I think.
Yeah.
Jai Courtney was a big fan. Captain Boomerang. I really liked him.
Yeah, I liked him too. So.
I liked Captain Boomerang. I liked Will Smith a lot. I feel like Idris Elba was kind of the leader of this one, like Will Smith was in the last one. Idris Elba was better.
Well, yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean that. I can't disagree with that.
I think he was just. and I'm not going to say that anybody was better than Will Smith, hardly ever. But I think Idris Elba was.
Will Smith. I'm gonna word this, and I don't know if I don't know how much I can back this up, but I don't think Will Smith does a great job of sharing the screen as good as what Idris Elba does. I think he thrives when
you're probably right on that.
He thrives when he is the front runner, one and only main guy, right? Now you can probably argue that him and Tommy Lee Jones did really well in Men in Black and some of that, but for the most part, he's very. I just meant their dynamic, Idris Elba, I just think did very well at. It was a shared aspect because he had to share the screen with a lot of people, and I think he handled that very well and did a much better job.
He did, and I feel like he did a great job at not only being the star of the show at certain points, but also passing it off to Margot Robbie, and I don't know what the name of the spot was, but man, those characters are fantastic.
Yeah, and that's even the thing with the guy with the spots, right? Finally getting some of his backstory.
Polka Dot Man, yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spot is a Marvel character.
Oh, okay.
The Spider-Man villain, actually.
But yeah, I thought it was hilarious. So what was your thoughts?
I liked it.
Did you what was your favorite character? The Weasel, right?
No.
Which was Frank Gunn, right?
Oh, was it?
That's James Gunn's brother, who was the director, who's the Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
Oh, no kidding.
But yeah, that's his brother. So his brother was the guy that played the Weasel, and he also played Calendar Man. Did you catch that one? Calendar Man was one of the guys at Arkham Asylum. No, they weren't in Arkham.
Is this the same brother that's in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The
Plays
guy that's
across Yondu.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So that he played Calendar Man in here, and he also played Weasel. So,
Huh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
wait, sorry, Devin. Go ahead.
So who would be your favorite character?
I don't know his name, but it's whatever.
John Cena's?
No.
I like the way Devin curls the mic up here.
So, which actor?
Idris Elba.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
what was his name actually in there? You remember what his character name was?
No, I can't because it's an offshoot of like Deadshot, right?
Yeah, it is something exactly like that. It's regardless. But regardless, again, you can see James Gunn using characters that he likes to use, like Frank Gunn and Michael Rooker, that sort of thing. Like I love the characters in general.
Did you not expect Michael Rooker to last longer?
Right. I expected all. I don't want to give too many spoilers away here, but you probably should have seen this one a little bit. But Michael Rooker was supposed to be the guy in this one. Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson. Yeah, another one. Yep.
Yeah, my wife was upset, vocally upset.
Actually, now I'm gonna change my favorite. I'm gonna change it to Colonel Flag.
Yeah, Colonel Flag was great. He did a good job. Actually, he did a great job of and he did the same thing in the first one, but he was basically just trying to rein them all together.
So he's like a cat wrangler, man.
Yeah,
that's
exactly, and that's what his do. So one thing we haven't talked about Peacemaker, John Cena too much, but there's one scene in there where you have John Cena and Idris Elba across a void there, and they are looking at each other. One of them is in light, one of them is dark. It is one of those scenes that I love it. I love the cinematography of it. I love that movies do this sort of thing. It is just presenting. It's just they're squaring up, and it's like this is a showdown here.
It also, I loved how they threw it back, and it actually went against it was opposite of what they said in the beginning, but the size of the bullets, right? And it was just such a cool way to throw it back to that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had a lot of fun with that movie.
They did too. One more thing though, King Shark.
Oh, King Shark is again just a full-on comic relief the entire time.
Who is King Shark though?
I know you told me this, but
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Stallone. There you go. Yeah.
I cannot believe that while I was watching that movie, I did not pick up that it was Sylvester Stallone playing King Shark or voicing King Shark. And then afterwards, did you not know that?
No.
Okay, all right. So after you watch it again, it's like, well, obviously that's Sly Stallone. Obviously.
I thought he's actually one of the funniest parts of the entire movie.
He really is. Yeah.
I thought
Ratcatcher too was great too.
Yeah.
Just great characters in general. We can go about them all day.
Yeah, we can do a whole episode on
We probably should have at some
we
point.
Probably should have.
Actually, I'm gonna change my favorite character again to the rat. I don't know his name.
Ratcatcher too.
Yeah.
No, not Ratcatcher. The actual rat.
Yeah. That's the weasel.
Yeah.
Not the weasel. The actual
She's talking
rat.
about
The actual rat that she.
I said
got you.
yeah.
With the little vest on.
Yeah.
Stuart.
Something like
That's
that.
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little.
So the original Ratcatcher. Do you know who that was?
No.
Her father. I'm going to slaughter this name, but Taiki Waititi.
Oh yeah.
From Thor Ragnarok, and he plays Korg.
What movie? He's in Free Guy.
He's in Free Guy. Let's talk about Free Guy.
Let's talk about Free Guy. It's a good segue there. Yeah, because he actually, instead of directing, he's actually acting in Free Guy.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we move on to Free Guy, I want to talk about Suicide Squad because I feel like this is one that needs to be ranked. Okay. We didn't do an episode on it. Let's do a
like an unscheduled rating.
An unscheduled rating. Yeah.
Okay.
So what would you rate this one? I want you both to give me a rating on this one.
All right, Suicide Squad 2. I'm gonna do a 7.9.
That's respectable. I'll accept that. 7.9. I mean, I feel like you're low on it, but that's fine.
Hey, that puts it up there for me. I feel like
Yeah, you've been very. What was your ranking on?
It's like ratings. They're in my head only the moment that you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Devin, how about yourself?
I will give the movie an 8.5.
8.5. All right, I'm going to go right with Devin. I'm going to go with 8.6. I think this movie. I think this is the best movie that's come out of DC.
I mean, it's a must see. Then I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So it is above. It is out of the fantastic. It is in the must see category.
I would agree with that. I mean, if you look at our rating. A 9 is an instant classic, and there's no way that this is an instant classic. It's not an instant classic.
Nope, you're right.
So it is a must-see. I agree with that, and yeah, I mean, I think that would fit right in there.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So we're probably between the three of us. It's a 7.9 to a 8.5, 8.6. We're probably at like a 8.3.5,
sure,
8.4. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, definitely must see. So anyway,
all right. Well, we got time for one more movie. So Free Guy.
Yeah. So Free Guy. Let's talk about Free Guy. So
Devin, what was your thoughts?
I really liked the movie. It's up there with last couple years.
So we're all gamers here, so I feel like that's going to be something that's going to kind of tie into that a little bit. It's going to give you a little bit of that feeling of nostalgia because we're all gamers. We like that type of thing, right?
I mean, so we just watched today. We just watched Ready Player One for like the 18th millionth time, right? It's one of our favorite all-time movies in this household.
Devin, are you a reader?
Yeah.
You should read.
I did.
Okay, all right.
I think he did. So.
All right. Have you read Ready Player 2?
No.
Okay, I'm about halfway through Ready Player 2. It seems like it's really good. It's literally taken right off where that one ends. So, yeah.
But I do see the, to your point, I think what you were getting to, I see that similarity, right, between a Ready Player One and like a Free Guy. The reason why we love these movies is because it hits home to those of us that are on the video game side that enjoy those types of, like I said, nostalgia. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And we got to talk a little bit about Lil Ray Howery, who's the guy. I had to look that up before we got on here, but that's the guy from like
that's the security guard.
Guard.
He's from Uncle Drew.
He is from Uncle Drew. Yeah.
He's the guy that put the team together.
Devin loves Uncle Drew. I forgot that Devin loves Uncle Drew. That's great. That's a great call out there. But he's also the guy from Get Out.
Yeah.
Great actor. Love that guy. He brings a lot of comedic relief to that. I feel like the movie was great in a lot of ways. But I feel like what the real special part of this was like all of the cameos. This was like a payoff to fans.
Yep.
So it is Ryan Reynolds fans, it is video game fans, it is Marvel fans because they hit those Marvel. Yeah, they did a lot of that.
Yep.
So there's a lot of that stuff. And I'm actually gonna bring out a quote here that my wife sent to me from Ryan Reynolds' Instagram. And I feel like that was I didn't want to like write it down. I wanted to actually just read it right off of his because I felt like it was just too good to mess up. And so in this movie you have Chris Hemsworth. You have Hugh Jackman. You have who's the guy from Louisiana that I'm thinking of?
Hugh Jackman was there for like 2 seconds, but he was in there.
I'm like all you could hear was his voice. And It's like that's Hugh Jackman.
That's Hugh Jackman.
Yep. And there's just a ton of his friends basically that came up. And so Ryan Reynolds he posted on Instagram. He said, "This movie is about friendship, and friendship at its simplest just showing up. While I don't have photos of everyone, here's to all the incredible pals who showed up for this film." And I'm not kidding you. I love this because it really was. It was just the movie was all about friendship between him and the security guard and that sort of thing, and that's what it was about. And that movie really that quote really hammered it down because he brought his buddies in. Just like three buddies right now doing a podcast. It really just hits home for me that's what he did.
I thought there was a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if you guys watched, but there was a thing and it was on. I don't know. I can't remember what it was on, but it was Ryan Reynolds. And he was crashing the X-Men reunion on Zoom, and he jumped in, and then everyone but the people from X-Men Origins, just him and Hugh Jackman, and then another guy from X-Men Origins, Wolverine, came.
Huh.
Yeah, I know that he has that playful style with Hugh Jackman, where like if Hugh Jackman posts a picture of what he's having for dinner that night. Ryan Reynolds is gonna have a snarky comeback to it or whatever, just like Deadpool, Deadpool, everything.
Well, so the other thing that I also liked about Free Guy too, like it had a lot of fun storylines to it, right? You had the similar to like again, I'm gonna kick it back to like Ready Player One, right? You had the IOI company, right? You had
Yeah.
to go after the
which was Taiki
was-
Waititi.
Yeah.
I
His-
apologize to that poor fellow that I'm just slaughtering his name. Sure.
His company, right, is the bad company.
Yep.
So it's like the people trying to go after it. I enjoyed that that storyline. I also liked the whole piece of, how these characters were created. And it was really like the underlying game, right? Like it was the genius between these two people that had a huge connection together is what gave life to these characters, right?
Yeah.
And I thought there was just some really neat underlying stories there that
Which
that went
it was
along
something
with
that was
this.
very well, like, it was kind of obvious, but also like, that was a dumb comment, but like it's kind of obvious, but it's not, because you could see that there was clearly an attraction. There was something where but you didn't know what it was.
Well, and this is two people created the first ever fully artificial intelligence, right? Yet it's in the form of a video game side character. What are those called? What are the characters?
CPU.
No, not non-playable characters.
Non-playable characters,
Yeah.
right?
NPC.
So the NPCs. So the world's first and
I got
smartest.
Devin on a video game question there.
The world's first and smartest artificial intelligence is in the form of a non-playable character in a video game,
Yeah.
right? So just trying to get your head wrapped around like that,
Yeah.
that's huge, right? And so it was just really neat to see that story arc go. I thought I'm going to throw a rating on this.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to give this an 8.4.
Woo! You came in hot on that one,
I am.
man.
I enjoyed it.
You guys may not think this, but I'm gonna give it a 9.8.
A 9.8. All right, so we got the Godfather here. So, but all right. Devin, I'm not attacking your number here, but like, what is the greatest movie of all time?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that if you say 9.8 now, then you have nowhere else to go. But I'm gonna give it a 7.3.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
gonna
actually
do it-
gonna
I'm-
go back to 9.4.
So I'm gonna give it a 7.3. I just feel like I as much as you rant and rave, I don't think it's like I don't think it's a transcendent movie or anything like that.
I think it's a must see.
I would say that it is real close to a must see. You know, if our average is definitely gonna be in the must see category for sure. But I feel like if your and mine averaged out, and I expect yours to be higher than mine on this one, really did. If they averaged out to be in the must see category, I'd be like, yeah, you're right, because you should go see it. You should definitely go see it.
So the reason why I give this an 8.4 is because I want to continue to watch this thing multiple times. It's like a Ready Player One for me. That
What would you put Ready Player One?
oh wow, that's
Yeah, I'm just throwing
Yeah.
it. I'm spitfiring at you here.
yeah. I mean,
Guns blazing.
honestly, for me personally, I'm going to give it probably a 8.8.
Okay, all right.
I would give it a 9.5.
Okay, I'd give that one a 7.8.
Yeah, it would definitely be in the 8s for me. So
Yeah, I might give it an 8.1. Let's say an 8.1 for Ready Player One.
yeah. It's one of my favorite all-time movies.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
So-
and it's rightfully so.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we have covered a lot of ground tonight with talking about Venom. We've talked about a lot of other movies here that we haven't that we've kind of missed. I think this is a good first pod back in a while.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, like, we've missed a lot. We didn't cover as much as we should have. We went a little bit longer than we should have. There's a lot of stuff that we can say about this, but in the same sense, like we first one back, right? It's the rebound.
We came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No?
No. Oh.
But
Devin did a hard pass on that one.
here's my next question. Like, I feel like we're in October, so again, we've got baseball, we've got spooky season. I feel like we need to have a scary movie thing.
Well, you know what we need to have?
I say
We need to have continuity, and we need to have a consistent schedule, Chad. So let's start there first, and then we'll start filling that in.
Yeah.
I say all three of us go watch the new Halloween movie.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Watch that.
So that's just it. We got Halloween. We've got Candyman out.
Did you know that the first Halloween is really a comedy?
What?
the first Halloween is really a comedy.
Why you
Oh
say
my
that?
God! Here we go. I'm
I've talked about it on here. I think it's. I think I laughed more than I did anything else.
Oh
You're
my
gonna have
God!
to
That's
do that
right.
again.
It's like the cheesiest movie ever.
What? Let's talk about our favorite.
Well, all right.
Again, look, not now.
Yeah.
Not now. But we need to get our favorite horror movies figured out.
We'll get those in line. So, all right. Well, hey, with that, thank you for sticking along with us. It's been a heck of a journey.
Devin has to go to
this
bed.
point here. Yeah, we're reaching Devin's bedtime here.
He's only 9 years old. It's time to change his diaper, put him to bed.
All right. So what we do ask is if you like this, please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified each and every time that we put out crazy long videos like this. And with that, the credits are rolling.
The lights are coming on.
That's the end of the show.